This is my E-Flite Air Tractor 1.5 meter wingspan RC airplane, and this is actually my second copy. So I do have two. I have one back home to fly off on wheels, and I have this one to fly on floats. And on my floats, you actually have to purchase an extra float set for this one because it isn't included. But I opted to paint mine, and I think, I mean, it looks just so much better when you have yellow paint on the floats. And I use this Tamiya color. It's a TS16, and I think the color is actually matching quite well. It's not 100%, but still good enough. And I do have plans maybe on painting like these braces in like a silver color also, if I can find a good silver spray paint. But I mean, it's just a super fantastic looking RC airplane. I really dig the features, so let's get this one up in the air and fly. First off, let's do some reversing. So I have an AVN 45 amp EC inside with reversing. This is really useful when you fly on floats. And just checking the surfaces. Let's push it and get up in the air. So I discovered that the best way to actually get this one up in the air is to get it rolling, and then when you feel that it's going straight, push the throttle, and at the same time a little bit of elevator, and it just, you know, climbs off really well. So you can surely just gradually increase throttle, but I think that if you have it going and then give it a throttle push, it just jumps up in the air. And the thing is, this Air Tractor, I mean, it's a beautiful yellow RC airplane. I really dig. It's so able. I mean, I can do a lot of aerobatics, but it's just a great looking RC airplane. You can also glide for a really long time. So this is no throttle. You just pick it up when it drops enough. So I mean, it's just it's a quite a hefty RC airplane and large 1.5 meter wingspan RC airplane, but it just flies so fantastic.
Time remaining 4 minutes.
Maybe I would say that it doesn't handle stronger wind too well, in that it does become a little bit harder to steer. So in that regard, I think the Turbo Timber Evolution is easier when you have more strong wind. And I think with floats also, this plane just looks even better. So I'm just killing throttle, just gliding. Just picking up throttle when I just need to turn. And I mean, inverted flying is just very good with this RC airplane, even with floats. Very easy to do. When you have a spot like this, on a wide lake, I think it's like maybe 600 or 700 meters to the other shore. I mean, should I go a little bit further than usual, just because it's a lot of fun. And I mean, it's just gliding fantastic, this RC airplane. So there's a little bit of wind today. On this location, it's also a little bit tricky because near land where I'm standing, it actually can shift very, very fast. And usually it's less wind over here. And if I'm just doing an approach from a little bit further away from the beach or from the seaside, it's actually can be a lot of strong wind. So wind do shift back and forth. So that's the tricky thing. Today it's not too much wind, just a slight breeze. When you push the throttle, it just goes. It's really powerful RC airplane.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
Point rolls are really easy also. Smooth stall turns as well. So if you own the air tractor, I think you just owe it to yourself if you have the chance to fly on floats. Because I think at least that it makes this air tractor looks even better. It's like the Fire Boss version. So it should be fun too if I could fill the floats with water and spray some water, but that will surely just sabotage the CG totally.
Take off flaps.
Flap setting is a little bit wonky in this RC airplane. If you get the CG right, I think it works according to the manual, but
30
have it
seconds.
slightly to the forward or toward the rear, it can be a little bit odd. So let's get it down then. Usually very smooth when you have little wind.
Flaps up.
A good landing this time. And the great thing about the Avian ESC is you do have reverse. So if you want to maneuver this plane in a good way on the water, you actually have the ability to use this reverse thrust. So it's set on a channel, usually it's channel 7 on the Avian ESC. So that makes it possible just to go out of the tough spots if you end up in a bad angle with this RC airplane. Out of all my RC airplanes, this E-Flite Air Tractor is number 1 or number 2, depending on how you look upon it. And I mean, this one, along with like the Turbo Timber Evolution, I think it's really difficult to beat what you get. I think the Turbo Timber Evolution does, of course, have the thing that it does include floats, and the floats for the Turbo Timber Evolution does fit this one. So it's like the same construction. But when it comes to actually to have this one like agile and such, I think the Air Tractor is the more speedy and the more sportive version of the Turbo Timber Evolution. I've upgraded the electronics inside, so I do have an Avian 45 amp EC inside, so I can do reverse thrust, which is really important if you fly on floats, because then you can maneuver the RC plane much better on water. And I also think that this plane, it looks actually fantastic. I have to say that when I first saw this one, I thought it was a little bit ugly, but now when I've owned this one and actually 2 copies of it, I think it's just a fantastic looking RC airplane, and especially when you fly it, and especially when you fly on floats, when you go like a close flyby, I think it's just an amazing looking RC airplane, maybe one of the coolest and best I have right now. And I also dig, I dig everything on this RC airplane. I dig the lights, I dig the color, I dig the flaps, the floats, the 3-bladed prop. It's certainly not the best one to build, but I think it's just overall just a fantastic flying and great looking RC airplane.